Okay, we are ready to go, Mayor.
Great. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for making time to serve the city in this capacity. I greatly appreciate it. So I'm on the road and I'm actually about to hit a bit of a dead spot. So it may come in choppy for a quick bit, but it'll be short. It's 12:03. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll do a roll call attendance vote, please.
Mayor Alonso,
Present.
Vice Chairman Lombardi is absent. Councilman Ryan,
Present.
Ms. Silveria,
Present.
Mr. Costello,
Present.
Winkleman.
Here.
We have 5 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Sherry. And again, thank you, everybody, for your service to the city. We'll start off with item number 1 on the agenda, the investment performance analysis. I'll hand it off to Eric and the folks at Wayne.
Thank you, Mayor. If you'll turn everyone to your first page, electronic page 4, it's your current estimated investment position and performance analysis. We'll update you on what's happened since our last meeting. And the portfolio is flat since our last meeting. Everybody hear me okay, Sherry? Okay. Portfolio is flat since our last meeting, went up a little bit after, down a little bit so far this month, but we're up 8.9% year to date through the other day, the 21st. And what you'll notice if you look through is that actually in recent weeks, growth has outperformed value, and that's a little different than the previous several months. You can see that whether it's index funds or what have you on the domestic equity side, the growth is positive month to date, and value is actually negative month to date. This is true basically for small cap and large cap this month. And inflation and the Fed are the story. They are the macro story since our last meeting, and that's what's driving the numbers here. Very recently, inflation expectations have receded a little bit. The Fed's response to those expectations has been somewhat calming to the market. So interest rates have actually rolled over a little bit. 10-year yields, for example, are in the high 140s. And this has actually been good for growth stocks lately. So markets have been volatile recently. Last week, there was a pretty good sell-off, but it's turned around quite quickly again. And it's on this news of, yes, while super accommodation from the Fed can't go on forever, it's probably going to go slow, and at least markets believe right now their inflation expectations are the while inflation has increased recently, and depending on what index you look at, whether that's a CPI or PCE, it's up around 4 to 5% year over year, and we haven't seen numbers like that in quite some time. Markets tend to believe, especially the bond market tends to believe that that is temporary. We will see, but that's the way they're acting. So if you look at their inflation expectations, those are down by about 20 bips or so in the last few weeks, and real interest rates are also flat to down a little bit. And very recently, there's also been some positive news on a bipartisan infrastructure plan down in Washington, which is the odds of something like that passing are going up. And markets have liked that as well, you know, for those productivity enhancing investments and the ongoing strength that could inject into the economy. That's a long term, that's a 5 to 10 year type of an issue. And markets have liked that recently as well. And in fact, there could be yet another infrastructure plan after this one later in the year, which may be even larger, more long-term, have some of the other types of spending in it as well. That's still uncertain, but nonetheless, although markets have been volatile lately, interest rates have stabilized and rolled over. You can see in our fixed income that actually, flat to up, rounding error so far month to date, and they're doing a little bit better year to date than they had. So that's really the quick summary of what's happening here. You see your growth value differential this month. You see the interest rate story, the inflation story, and the stimulus story of the infrastructure package out of Washington. Those are the main things as we as the environment of coming out of the pandemic, caseload falling and reopening of the economy continues apace. So up 8.9% year to date, pretty strong environment. Expect that to continue going forward. We think the earnings are going to grow extremely strongly this year, perhaps 35% or more year over year. That's very unusual, very strong, and markets are continuously pricing in that optimism here throughout the first half of the year. So with that, I'll leave it, Mayor, and take any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Questions or comments for Eric? Okay, if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the investment performance analysis as just delivered. Is there a motion on the table?
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Winkleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Costello. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? All right. The motion carries, and we'll move on to matter number 2 on the agenda. Discussion relative to Dexter Donation Fund and other trust accounts. I'll hand it back to you, Eric.
Thank you, Mayor. If everyone would please open their other package, you will see we usually start with the Dexter Donation Trusts. You can see that the story that I'm talking about applies equally well to these smaller portfolios. You'll see they're down about 1% month to date, but up 8.7% year to date through the other day, the 18th. Slightly different portfolios, different equity, fixed income exposures, and of course, no alternatives. Up 8.7% year to date through the 18th. Again, market's up a little bit since then. It's probably a little higher as we speak, but the same story applies with respect to growth and value and the inflation debate with the Fed and what's happening in Washington. Much of the analysis we would have covered already in our previous discussion. So I'll take any questions or comments that may be arising since then. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Any questions or comments?
Same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the investment performance analysis for the Dexter Donation Fund and other accounts. Is there a motion?
So move. Okay.
So moved by Commissioner Winkleman. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So moved by Commissioner Costello. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to matter number 3, the request from Harrison Peters, the former superintendent, but this is coming from the school department, to transfer $84,000 from the Edward Hinckley Bradford Trust or Fund to the Providence Promise program. So this is a request that we've handled over the past a couple of years, and there's some accompanying material in the packet that you all received. So Larry, do I hand this to you, or is there someone else who's going to speak on it?
Mayor, it would be myself and Ms. Silveria, but we both can speak on it equally as well. This is a process where we are not drawing from investment returns from corpus or principal. It is well within the range of investment returns, and as far as the draw falling within the allotted percentage annually, it's going to a good cause, and I believe it has already cleared the city treasurer. I'm looking at a document that was signed by the treasurer requesting that a check be distributed from State Street fund and be sent to the city for subsequent approval today and moving forward.
Could you just, I'm all in favor of this, but
Yeah.
scholarships go to high school kids for what purpose?
To assist them financially, it could be used for a sort of number of educational supplies, including books and supplies and other attendant educational needs.
Okay, but while they're in high school?
High school entering college.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and so just to complete that, so in previous years, they've gone to two things. So the bulk of it has gone to provide scholarships for graduating high school seniors, and a certain amount, somewhere in the range of 20 to 25,000, has gone to the Providence Promise program, which also helps to promote and create a college-going culture. So the accompanying material might have the details of how that's going to be allocated this year, but I just wanted to point out that historically it's been for more than just scholarships.
Yes, if I may, I do have that. In a letter that was signed by the former superintendent, there will be 112 scholarships, each in the amount of $750. And if I may, that equals the $84,000.
Has that gone through the legal department to make sure that it's following the requirements of the trust?
I will defer to Solicitor Shivrini.
I can tell, I don't know if there's documentation. I will certainly provide that, but I can tell you, as the mayor pointed out, historically, there has not been an issue. It has been consistent with the trust document, but I will have something provided to the city clerk in the next day or so.
Okay.
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you. My question is relative to Harrison Peter, the previous superintendent's letter, wherein he states that a number of students were selected or were chosen. So what was the selection process? Who chose these 112 students and how were they selected?
Madam Chair, I don't have the particularities on the selection process. I do believe it was based on both academic performance and based on financial need. I believe that's the criteria.
And who made the selection? The past superintendent? Is there a committee?
There is a Mayor?
Yeah, I can speak to that. In the past, the way it's always been done is a committee has been set up. They review all of the scholarship, all of the applications. So we do a lot of publicity around getting kids to apply. So they review all of the applications, and based on the criteria that Larry just mentioned, a combination of academic merit and financial need, those applications are ranked by the committee, and then put forward, and that's and that's how they're selected.
Okay, it would be good if that process was expressed in the letter presented before us, so that there's no question that there was a rigorous process involved versus a past superintendent selecting. It says that, a list of scholars were chosen.
Yeah, we can
just
put
like a
that
little more transparency in the process. That's all.
Yeah, we can put that together. And Commissioner, if it's okay with you, what we've done in the past is we've approved it, but subject that information. So, with today's conversation, we're already going to have to make it subject to the letter from the law department, documenting that it is in compliance with the requirements of the trust. And we can add to that also subject to the school department providing some documentation of what the process was.
And an updated letter of request, I think, would be appropriate.
Okay, updated in what way, Councilwoman?
Well, the superintendent's no longer here. We haven't cut these checks yet, have we?
No.
I believe so.
Excuse me? You believe so?
I don't believe I don't know if
Okay.
they have been cut. I
No.
know that funds have been
we know
transferred.
we know they have not been cut yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So there being none, I will entertain a motion to approve the request for the transfer of $84,000 from the Bradford Fund to the Providence Promise program, or rather to the school department, subject to a letter from the law department stating that this is in compliance with the requirements of the trust. Second, subject to a letter from the school department explaining the process for selection of the recipients. And third, subject to a new letter by the current superintendent. Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
So second.
So moved by Commissioner Costello, seconded by Commissioner Ryan. Any discussion on the motion?
I have a question. What happens if the new commissioner doesn't agree with this?
Well, then I guess we won't receive a letter, and our approval, won't be
Okay.
won't be complied with.
Okay, then it has to come back to us if they want to do it again.
So,
Right.
Okay.
Kenny, how are we getting those letters? Who's going to reach out to the new superintendent to have a letter sent to this office?
Madam Clerk, I will work with the solicitor and the finance director to assure that we can get that activity as quick as possible, perhaps even before the day is over today.
Okay, and then just send them to me when you get them, Larry. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay.
That would be on a roll call vote, Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's do the roll call vote. Go ahead, Sherry.
Donna just said, she just called your name, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We couldn't hear it.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Lombardi is absent. Councilwoman Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. Silveria?
Aye.
Mr. Costello?
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch is absent. Mr. Winkleman?
Aye.
5 ayes, 2 absent. The motion carries. Mayor, you're muted. Mayor, you're muted. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to matter number 4. And Ken, can you confirm that there are no matters relative to claims and litigation to discuss?
Confirmed, Mayor.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion to continue matter number 4 until our next meeting. Is there a motion? So moved by Commissioner Winkleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Ryan. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. That matter is continued. That brings us to the end of the agenda. I want to thank it. Well, first of all, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved by Commissioner Costello and seconded by Commissioner Winkleman. All those in favor to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, we are now adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.